Today, we talk about something that happens to everyone, in every language, in every life. You have a choice to make, and you don't know what to do. You can see both sides. You understand the reasons for each one, but understanding the reasons doesn't make it easier. It might even make it harder. And in English, how do you talk about that? How do you say what you're feeling when you're stuck between two things? How do you explain a decision to someone else or even to yourself? Today, you're going to learn. Think about where you started. Day 1. Day 1, a simple morning in New York. You are at A1. You could understand simple words, short sentences, slow speech. Now it's day 22, phase 3. B1 Intermediate. You are listening to a story told at natural speed about complex emotions, about inner conflict, about making a real decision. And you understand it. That is not luck. That is 22 days of showing up. That is what listening fluency feels like when it begins to arrive. This series exists for one reason: to take you from A1 to B1 through listening, through stories told at a pace you can follow, with words that stay with you. Every episode is one more step, and today's step is one of the most important ones. Hello, and welcome back to English Journey Studio. This is day 22 of your 30-day English journey. 8 more days after today. You are almost there. Today is Wednesday morning, 2 days after Sarah's job interview. She has been waiting. And then her phone buzzes. Let's begin. It is 7:42 in the morning. Sarah is in her kitchen, still in her pajamas. She has a mug of coffee in both hands, the way she always holds it when it's cold outside. She picks up her phone to check the time. There is an email. The sender is Nina Park. Subject line, following up on our conversation. Sarah puts the mug down. She reads the email slowly. Then she reads it again. Dear Sarah, it was wonderful to meet you on Monday. We were impressed by your portfolio and the way you talked about your work. We'd love to offer you the full-time position of senior graphic designer. Please let me know if you'd like to discuss further. We hope to hear from you soon. Sarah sets the phone face down on the counter. She picks up her coffee again. She looks out the window at the November sky. Gray and low, the kind that means rain is coming. She needed to weigh her options. To weigh your options means to carefully think about all the choices you have before making a decision. You look at each one. You consider what you gain and what you lose. Like a scale, you put one thing on each side and see which is heavier. Sarah had 2 options. Option 1, say yes. A full-time job, stable income every month, a real title, a team. Option 2, say no, stay freelance, keep the life she had built carefully over 4 years. She thought about the pros and cons. The pros and cons of something are the advantages and disadvantages, the good things and the bad things about a choice. What are the pros and cons is one of the most useful questions in English when you are trying to decide something. She poured more coffee. She didn't drink it. She just stood there, in the quiet kitchen, with the gray sky outside and the email still waiting on her phone. An hour later, Sarah was dressed and heading out for a walk. She needed air. She needed to move. She pulled open her apartment door and almost walked directly into Priya. Priya was standing in the hallway with a large tote bag over one shoulder and a thermos in her hand. She was wearing an orange scarf, the bright kind she always chose even in November. "Sarah," she said, You look like you're carrying something heavy. Sarah laughed a little. Is it that obvious? They stood in the hallway, the narrow, familiar hallway with its old carpet and the window at the end that let in pale morning light, and Sarah told her. The interview, the email, Nina's offer. Priya listened without interrupting. That was one of the things Sarah liked about her. So, what does your gut say? Priya asked when Sarah finished. To go with your gut means to follow your instinct, the deep feeling inside you before your brain starts making lists and arguing with itself. Your gut is not logic. It is something older than logic. And sometimes it knows things your brain hasn't figured out yet. My gut says, Sarah started. Then she stopped. I don't know. I keep going back and forth. You're second-guessing yourself, Priya said. To second-guess yourself means to doubt a decision you've already started to make, to keep questioning it, keep going back, keep wondering if you're wrong. It's when your mind won't stay still, when every answer immediately produces a new question. Yes, Sarah said, exactly that. Priya shifted the bag on her shoulder. Go for your walk, she said. Sometimes the answer comes when you stop trying to find it. She headed toward the stairs. Then she turned back. But Sarah, whatever you decide, make sure it's what you want. Not what sounds impressive. Not what someone else would choose. What you want. The stairwell door closed behind her. Sarah stood alone in the hallway for a moment. Then she walked toward the elevator. Prospect Park in November. The last of the leaves, dark orange, deep rust, a few still yellow, were on the ground now, wet from last night's rain. The paths were mostly empty. A man walking a dog in the distance. 2 joggers passing in the other direction. Quiet. Sarah walked slowly. Her hands were in her coat pockets. Her breath was faint white in the cold air. She needed to think it through. To think something through means to consider every part of a decision carefully, to not rush, to follow each thought to its end before moving to the next one. You think it through, all the way through, from the beginning to the end. She thought about the job. Full-time meant structure, a desk, a schedule, meetings on Tuesday mornings, projects assigned to her, not chosen by her, income that arrived every 2 weeks, reliable as the subway, mostly. She thought about what she had now. Freelance meant choosing her own clients, saying yes to the work that excited her and no to the work that didn't. It meant some months were harder. It meant the uncertainty was real. But it also meant, and she had to be honest with herself here, it meant she woke up every morning and the day was hers. She stopped on the path. A gust of wind moved through the bare trees above her, a low sound, like something being decided. She thought about why she had come to Brooklyn in the first place. 23 years old, a portfolio with 12 pieces in it, a sublease in a third-floor apartment that she could barely afford. She had not come here for a desk in someone else's office. She had come here to build something of her own. She had been building it slowly for 4 years. She knew this was a turning point. A turning point is a moment when something important changes, when the direction of a story or a life shifts. It doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes a turning point looks like a woman standing alone on a path in a park, her hands in her pockets, the leaves wet at her feet. She started walking again. By the time Sarah got home, it was past noon. She made a bowl of soup, the simple kind, just broth and noodles, and sat at her desk while she ate it. She opened her laptop. She looked at Nina's email again. Then she opened a new message. She had made up her mind. To make up your mind means to finally decide, to stop going back and forth and land on one answer. You have been weighing and second-guessing and thinking it through. And then, at some point, something settles. You know. Sarah knew. It wasn't that the job wasn't good. It was. Nina was sharp, the studio was serious, the offer was fair. But as she had walked through Prospect Park, past the bare trees, past the joggers, past the parts of Brooklyn she had learned by heart, she had kept asking herself one question: does this fit? And the honest answer was, not quite. She thought about the clients she had worked with this year: a small restaurant in Cobble Hill, an independent bookstore in Park Slope, a clothing brand run by two sisters from Queens. Projects she had found herself, problems she had solved in her own way, on her own timeline. She thought about what it felt like on a Thursday afternoon when a client said, "This is exactly what we were looking for," and she knew she had gotten there because she had been free to try things, to fail quietly, to start again. A full-time role, she realized, would take that away. Not cruelly, just quietly, slowly, the way winter takes the light. She loved the freedom of freelance not as something careless, but as something she had chosen deliberately. She had earned it, and she had learned, in 4 years of Brooklyn winters and uncertain months and late nights with a client's project open on this same desk, that the work felt most like hers when the choices were hers too. To be a good fit means to match well, to suit a role, a place, a life. The job was good, but it was not a good fit. Not for her. Not right now. She began to type. Dear Nina, thank you so much for your offer. I'm genuinely honored. After careful thought, I've decided to continue with my freelance work for now. It's the path that feels right for where I am. I have great respect for what you're building, and I hope our paths cross again. She read it once. Then she committed to the decision. She pressed send. To commit to a decision means to choose it fully and stop looking back. You don't leave the door open. You don't keep one foot on each side. You make the choice and you trust it. Sarah closed the laptop. Outside, the November sky had cleared a little, a pale gray that was almost white, almost light. She sat at her desk and looked at it for a moment. She felt, very simply, like herself. Today, Sarah received an offer that many people would have said yes to immediately, and she said no, not because the opportunity wasn't real, but because she understood what she wanted more clearly than ever. That kind of clarity is earned. It doesn't come from logic alone. It comes from knowing yourself. Let's review today's vocabulary. Weigh your options. To carefully think about all the choices you have before deciding. She needed to weigh her options before responding to the offer. Pros and cons. The advantages and disadvantages of something. She thought about the pros and cons of taking the job. Go with your gut. To follow your instinct or inner feeling, not just logic. Priya told her to go with her gut. Second-guess yourself. To doubt a decision you've already started to make. To keep going back and forth. She kept second-guessing herself all morning. Think it through. To consider all parts of a decision carefully without rushing. She went for a walk to think it through. A turning point, an important moment when something changes significantly. Standing in the park, she knew it was a turning point. Make up your mind to finally decide after going back and forth. By the time she got home, she had made up her mind. A good fit to match well with a role or situation. The job was good, but it wasn't a good fit for her right now. Commit to a decision, to choose fully and stop looking back. She pressed send. She committed to the decision. Go back and forth to keep changing between two options without deciding. She went back and forth all morning before finally choosing. If you finished today's episode, type day 22 done in the comments. We are at day 22 of 30. 8 more episodes. You are in the final stretch. Tomorrow is day 23. Sarah has a story to tell. The best trip she ever took, and the words you need to talk about travel, memory, and the places that stay with you. See you tomorrow.